Good afternoon, everyone. Before starting actually the presentation, I'm just gonna speak a bit about myself because it's my first tech talk, so a few words about me. I'm a fan of computer science since the beginning of mankind, I think. I studied computer science and engineering at the University of Liège. I graduated something like 3 years ago. I come from Liège. I'm living with a roommate, which is the best Odoo support assistant from at Odoo. It's Kami, if you ever are in your support ticket. I'm a big fan of sport, running, basketball, and cycling. So if you don't want to speak about tech after the coffee break and so on, we can speak about sport. And then I did my internship at Odoo a few years, 2 years ago. In 2021, I was interned as a software developer. That's where I joined the Odoo family, and I think I couldn't detach myself from it since that time. And nowadays, I'm the CTO of my own company, which is Get Your Way. I'm the CTO, but in a small company, it means managing the IT, the software parts, and technical parts, but also the administration and the human resources. So that's me. So what do we do at Get Your Way? Basically, we made a product. We refactored the smart glasses, and we made this product. These are the simple smart glasses that are designed for the industry. So basically, I'm just gonna put it on my head so that you understand what it is. You can try it after the talk too. And basically, it's a screen that you put below your eyes, and that gets you information while you are walking. So for example, here, I could have put some information about my presentation, some notes or something like this, but you can put anything about it. And it allows you to get information while you have your hands free and you can walk on. So for example, when you are in a logistics or in a warehouse, you need to pick some items. In fact, you get the instruction here from the screen, and you keep your hands to take the instruction everywhere. That's basically what we do. And this can be done everywhere. So why did we build some smart glasses? Because smart glasses is something you may have heard about. Let's talk about RealWear, Vuzix, or Google Glass, or more recently about Vision Pro. Vision Pro are no smart glasses, but it's the same area. Basically, these are amazing pieces of technology, but in real life, they are not really used. There are many reasons for that. Today, I'm going to just speak about three. The first one is autonomy. These are very powerful devices with operating system like Android or things like that. So it needs a big amount of energy to perform. Then, in terms of development, Android and such operating systems are difficult to build with. You need to, when you know how to develop on Android, you can work on this device, but to get to that point, it's not straightforward. And finally, in terms of user, especially when you are targeting operators from the industry or people like that are not used with the tech, they even have problem with smartphones. So with this device, that's extremely difficult to make them use them. And that's why we made this product, something way more simpler. So basically, it's just a display that we have just here that is connected via Bluetooth to any kind of device, external device, just smartphone, laptop, tablets, anything, or even here it's a keypad we developed, which is basically an electronic keyboard, MCU. And it speaks with the device with Bluetooth, so you indicate what you want to place, some text at some place, some icons at another place, and in the end, you just have this device, which is 50 grams, 50, 60 grams, and you put it on your head, and you have everything you need. And to develop, it's kind of easy too, because it's just elements that you put on the screen. So we've got configurators where you have a drag and drop. You can say, I want my text on the top left, I want my icon on the top right, and things like that. So even for people who are not experienced with technology, that's clearly easy to build solution with and to use. Because like I just showed you, this is how people are putting the device on the head, and they don't need to do anything else to work. And how do we build such a product? Because this is now, but the project itself started 5 years ago. And in the beginning, that was what we thought about. We wanted to help people who are running in the woods to get their direction and to not feel lost anymore. This was something for a course at the university. We were in third grade, so not a lot experienced. And we are like, okay, we need to get the GPS in the woods. We need to display some information at the right location. It was quite complex. So we decided to go a step backward, and we made a GPS for the bikers, which is quite easier because GPS is something you have in your cars and so on. It's something you can get direction. It's a bit easier to display on, and that's why we jump on this area. So let's build the innovation. First, we wait 3 months to prove that our idea was worth it and that it was a good one for the project. So the first thing we did is to look for existing product, because there's no point of building something if it already exists. This was a fail, because like I told you, I show you some smart glasses and so on. They were quite complex. We were in third grade, where like at that time I couldn't develop on Android or anything like that. So we didn't find the product we were looking for. And that's where the first word of my presentation that I want you to remember, it's fast prototyping. The idea is to create a prototype fast, which is not going to work perfectly, but at least it's gonna prove you it works and that it's visible, and you're gonna get quick results. You're gonna quickly see if people can use it, if it's gonna bring value to people and so on. And basically, that's something we still follow in time. When you want to test an idea, it's quite easier to make something which is not perfect than actually analyzing if it's possible, if it's really gonna help people. Just make the thing and you'll see if it works or not. So in practice we did it with some Arduino, things like that, and people quite understood what we did, and we won the course and kind of contest. It was something in Wallonia between every engineering schools, and we won it. So we keep pushing the project, and at some point we're like, okay, so the prototype worked, the idea is kind of worth it, so we need to develop the full product. So we asked a few design companies, and they were like, okay, it's 100 to 200k euros. And we're like, okay, we're just students, we don't have that kind of money, we can't do that. And that's where so that was a fail, of course. And that's where our second keyword, which is partnerships. Because partners are people that gonna get you expertise, and that gonna help you build something stronger with a stronger basis, and that you're gonna help you save time for the project. In fact, every time you've got ideas, and when I speak with startup founders and so on, a lot of them are afraid to speak about their ideas. But don't fool yourself. People already have your own ideas. You just need to do it better or quicker, or at least just do it. So get some partners, discuss with people, and get some networks and people, and you really get a stronger basis for your product. That's what we do. In practice, what we did is that we merge our studies with the project itself. So my two other co-founders made their master thesis on the project itself. So one of them made the hardware part of the product, and the other one made the mechanical part of the product. And so we could partner with the university and a design company that helped the two guys to work to make first device. So, but actually to build it with these partners, we wrote some specification to describe what we wanted, what the product should look like, and so on. And we wanted to follow those specification and to make the product. But in reality, this was also a fail, because when you are creating something new, especially with no expertise, no experience in the domain and so on, you can't do it. You need some flexibility, because you need to adapt yourself to what users really need. And in particular, when you are building something, it's more than often that you are not the final user of the product. My glasses, I use it for my presentation, but that's almost the only way I can use it, or the only reason I will really use it. But there are a bunch of people who really need the device, and I need to listen to their feedback, not to mine. And that's something you need to be able to be flexible with that, and to adapt your product to all those feedbacks. And another kind of flexibility you need to have is that you need to think about the future of the product, can evolve in direction you didn't have thought about. So for example, when we needed to choose the MCU, we needed to choose for something that would be still valuable in five years later. And it's still the case, because we're still using it. But that was something we had to take in mind. And the final one is something a bit less fun, is that when you have partners, you are not often the priority of them, because they have their own business, they need to work on it, and it's perfectly normal. So you need to adapt to them and adapt to the time they're gonna deliver yourself with what you expect from them. So you need to be flexible with their delays, and you can't be blocked by someone. You can't be telling, I don't have my product or my some part of the product and I can't work this week. No, you just work on something else. You just be flexible. And that's how we ended in 2022. Now there should be a video, which is a video of when we showed the product for the first time in March 2022. It was something like 3 years after the beginning of the project. And it was kind of the best day of my life, because it was the first time that people just understood what we did and don't take us for granted and don't take us as crazy people. We're still crazy. That's because we build a product and that is the same as Google, but that's another point. And basically, people just took our device and put it on their head. So at that time, it works. We had a prototype that was working that we can show to people, so people understood what we were doing. We've got users who want to go further to test it, because that's the problem with fast prototyping, is that it's not perfect. You don't have the perfect device, so you need to push forward. But what's next? And what's next is something in startups we as developers do not speak a lot about. It's something called fundraising, because at some point when you are young, you're startups, you need some money to go further. And you do something that is called a fundraising. And basically, it's people that give you money. You need to improve to make this money worth it. And they're gonna help you with that money to go further. And basically, this money, these people are gonna go to your advisory board, which has people that gonna advise yourself, that gonna gonna help you go further. And these are, in fact, partners. So I come back to my partnership part, because when you get some money from fundraising, in fact, you get some partners that will gonna help you for the future. And for the money, it's some kind of means for getting further. For you get some flexibility, because you are now able to develop something that you couldn't before, and so on. And in general, these two pieces make something that we call smart money. Smart money is just not money, it's money that will bring you something more than just money. And so that's my few words about the fundraising. But we did one in 2022, in the end of 2022, and it allows us to jump to the company full time. So now that we have all of this, let's make the prototype solid and reliable. And for that, I just come back to my 3 keywords, which are partnership, because at the first point, when we wanted to do something bigger, more stronger, we just jump with development partners, which are IO, Typo, KMSS, whatever. It's people that have expertise in hardware, in mechanics, in firmware. It's some aspects that you do not have the experience in. You just, when you have, these are things that for developing a product, there's a bunch of people who already have done it. So you just need to benefit from their expertise. Then, in terms of customers, when you have your first customers, in fact, they are just not stupid paying customers, they are also your partners. They are the ones that are going to give you the first feedback, that going to give you the first info about what is good, what is not good. And when you speak to new clients, you will always refer to your previous one. So that's why they are just partners. And for the third one is something less common and less business-oriented, is business group. It means that a groupment of companies, of people that are targeting a specific subject. For example, the AWEX is the agency for volume exportation. It's just people that are going to help you get your product to the international side. And in terms of flexibility and fast prototyping, again, you get a bunch of feedback, so you need to be flexible to adapt your product and to have some code that is reusable but also adaptable to what the feedback is coming and so on. And in terms of fast prototyping, to get some feedback, you need a product that is testable by the clients. So that's why you need to deliver something testable and quick. So again, when you want to test an idea, you just make some fast prototyping. So a big example of that is something that we have, that I'll show you on one of the first slides, is our keypad, which basically is a 16 keyboard that you put on the arm that replaces the smartphone in the industry. Because in the industry, people are not really used to, it's not common to have the smartphone inside a factory and so on. So they prefer something more robust, something more heavy, and that's why we built this keypad. And basically inside it, for now, it's a kind of electronic chip. And at the first version, it was a basic Raspberry Pi, because it was quick. You can develop on it a bit like you develop on a computer with Python and so on. And that's what we did to test the IDE with some fast prototyping again. So we made the Raspberry Pi, but we finally reached some limitations. We moved to a chip which is called an ESP32 with MicroPython, and then we move on to C++ and so on. And again, we were flexible. We moved a bit further. We made some partnerships to develop it and to go further. And for the hardware part, is the same idea, is that we started with something basic that allows us to test the ID quickly. So we took something from Amazon, just put it on the device and test it to see if it works or not. Then we moved to something that comes from electronic supplier. Then we integrate an FC reader and a bunch of things like that. And every time we keep these 3 words in the mind to develop the product. So at that time, we've got a product. It's very nice, it works and so on. And during this prototype phase, we had one client, it's one use case, and basically it's one software application. That was good because it allows us to improve the code, the general code base, to improve the internal processes, and to improve the business understanding of everything. That was really cool. But at some point, it was not sustainable on the long run. Because you can, to give you a good example, in something like 1 year ago, we had a big contract when we needed to make 200 hours of work for one client. It was great because we were paid for that, the project was amazing, and we get a full insight about that. But that's what we only do. We couldn't do anything else. We stopped going to events, we stopped developing the product and so on, and that took all our time. So that's now because on what we are concerned is the word scalability. That's something that concerns us on our daily life, because basically we need to make our business scalable. And when I speak about scalable, I speak about many different kinds of scalability. First, in the processes, because when you make the accounting, the meetings, you cannot still do everything by the voice and so on. You need to record some features and so on. For the deliveries, for example, when I come here to Jamblou, I need to think about, should I go to WAF, to Louvain-la-Neuve and so on, to avoid spending too much time the travels. In terms of development, I needed to integrate some testing, automated testing, some reviews, document my code because I'm not the only developer anymore, and features like that. And in terms of team, we were 3 co-founders, but now we are not 3 anymore. We form almost 5 and 6 in September. So I need to make the onboarding scalable. We need to get the information to our people and to build a very strong team in a scalable way. And to give you a proper example about what we do now, I just give you the example of the use case we made at an aircraft manufacturer. So basically, they need, when they have new motors that comes to the factory, they need to check that everything is correct. And for that, they have a paper with a checkbox, then I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. The problem is that they need to move around the motor. They need to go over bridges, over ladders, and so on. It's really a dirty environment. So the papers, it's just kept under the ground, and it's really hard to maintain that. So we decided to use the glasses to show the instruction and the keypad to get the result. And the idea is to give some additional comfort to the operators and to the managers, some digitalized information of the results. And in the end, that's the use case we developed a bit further. We made a solution which is called Process Pilot, which is the solution we currently sell, which is more scalable because before that we needed to adapt everything. We had some Excel files and things like that. It was really not scalable on the long term. And which is a web platform, which is based on Odoo, of course. And it's for managers so that they can create the procedures describing what the field operators need to do. And then the field operators get the information on the device, on the physical tool just here, and just perform the operation. For example, check this pipe, fill this area with oil, and so on. And everything is digitized. It's quick for the operators. In terms of scalability, I just need to add a user to my platform and everything is going. So this is what we do now. And in terms of challenges, what are our key challenges for now? The first one is to manage the different devices and the version, because when we deliver a device to someone, it's not updated easily because we need to plug the USB key and so on. So we need to improve that. Then we need to create a strong team because your first employees are really key people for you. We need to explain how to use the solution, to make some documentation and so on, get new customer and user, of course, manage customization because you always people that need something else, so you need to manage that, think, is it really worth it or not? And in terms of security and archiving, we just have a bunch of work to do that on this. So thank you for your attention, and thank you to Odoo for the invitation, and we'll see us later.